I think it's important to emphasize essentially that the film is really this like heightened kind of fantasy world, and all of the characters really don't have much, don't really mirror a lot of elements of like their historical counterparts, you know, like in terms of, you know, who knew who, the ages, you know, what we did. And so I would say of the real Stagecoach Mary in history, there are very few parallels between her and the character that's in this film. You know, even, you know, the love story between Mary and Nat, you know, that isn't, you know, isn't real, you know, beyond the storyline in the film. And, you know, a lot of details, both large and small, like that. So there were, you know, not that many parallels in reality, but I did do sort of general reading of, you know, what life was like during this time in general, and then also specifically for Black people and the people that moved to the West, you know, who these kinds of people were, what they ended up doing, that there were actual real communities, all Black towns that people lived in. And so that's all real, you know, and I think that's important to sort of emphasize, was like, that Black people did live in the Old West, and you know, that's something that, you know, hasn't really been depicted in the film and the stories that we have created in this kind of like Western genre. And that was something that was really important to James, you know, and myself, which is why I joined this project, was to change that narrative on like, this is what the West looked like. And it looked, I think, very different than how we envisioned it. It was an incredibly diverse space. And you know, that's, you know, I think what brings this film to today, or this genre to today, is like, this is, you know, as it was as colorful back then as it is now. And so, you know, I kind of picked from like a bunch of different, you know, I read about all the various characters in the film. I read about people who aren't in the film. And, you know, overall there was, you know, this energy of survival and perseverance. And that was something I really wanted to imbue Mary with. You know, she's a survivor, and that was just like the general, I think, spirit of sort of anybody living in the West, but then particularly Black people who did.